This college student turned his secret companion into a burning disaster when his roommate unexpectedly showed up to their dorm, because he thought it would be a better idea to just burn the inflatable doll or girlfriend rather than have his roommate find out what he's been. This just sounds like such a far-fetched reaction, but a video trending on Chinese social media shows exactly the outcome of the headline. I mean, look at that thing. Why would you even think of doing that in the first place? It just sounds like a comedy skit, but let's imagine the scene here real quick. You were alone in your university dorm room. You had carefully planned this private moment because you knew your roommate, he was going on a date and he would be gone. So the guy, I guess, inflated his special companion to get some action. Then suddenly, footsteps are in the hallway. Your roommate's date, it falls through and he's back early. Panic sets in. So what do you do with the evidence? Well, apparently, if you're the specific technology student from Hefei, China, your solution is to grab your inflatable friend, rush into the hallway, and light it on fire. There is no way that was the best outcome. Why would you ever react like that? But on February 10th, 2025, what should have been a simple, awkward moment between two roommates turned into a full-blown emergency when this dude decided that arson was somehow less embarrassing than being caught with an inflatable doll. I mean, I can't even imagine what was going on in his mind when he just came to that conclusion. Did he genuinely believe that setting fire to a large silicon object inside of a building, his dorm room, would somehow be a little bit less awkward or noticeable than having your friend see it? Brother, it went from your roommate knowing about it to the whole country, plus you got an arson charge. It didn't even take that long for the fire to spread and trigger the campus fire alarm, filling the whole dormitory with smoke. A security guard quickly noticed the flames and alerted the fire department.
Directly in the dormitory, fire burning 7 results of the fire quickly out of control. Directly triggered a fire, alarmed the entire campus. The school leadership and the crowd rushed to the scene to extinguish the fire in time to put out the fire, did not cause serious damage.
Talk about making a mountain out of a molehill. I mean, dude, this is so unnecessary, but okay. Obviously, emergency services were called, and thankfully the firefighters could contain the situation before it ultimately got out of hand. But still, I mean, obviously, this guy was trying to avoid being noticed while having a, I guess, private moment to himself. But ironically, nothing says, "Don't look at me," than having a flaming inflatable doll in the dorm room, which then ultimately led to a bunch of fire trucks showing up and putting out the fire. I mean, bro, you did this to yourself, and I feel bad for you, but I also don't in the same way, because this is just laughably stupid, to put it lightly. But if the situation wasn't embarrassing enough to begin with, Hefei University of Technology also had to release what must have been one of the more unusual statements from a university, to put it lightly. So they posted, please do not use open flames to handle silicone items or other flammable materials in the building to avoid incidents. Items that are no longer needed can be directly thrown in the trash for disposal. Items that are no longer needed was the best way to skirt around what the thing was. Another interesting detail, though, is this guy, he's a technology student. Dude really should have known better. Luckily, though, the university staff later reported that there were no property losses or casualties, and we've already communicated with the students involved. So, no one was physically harmed. The only casualties were maybe the student's reputation and, of course, his inflatable partner. Oh, and also the shame to his family for generations to come. That's like partially a joke, because I had a Chinese friend growing up who would constantly joke about never doing anything risky at all because he didn't want to cause shame to his family for generations. So I know if he's watching this currently, he would confirm that this is the ultimate nightmare for him. But honestly, just trying to imagine what the conversation with the university administrators must have been like for the student. That disciplinary meeting must have been a fascinating one to be a fly on the wall for. And when I first read this story, I couldn't help but think the other choices this guy could have made after his friend arrived. I mean, he could have shoved it under his bed, thrown it out the window, wrapped it in a blanket, simply owned up to it. Anything other than creating a toxic fire hazard. Like, he had all these options, and then he chose to light it on fire. I mean, at this point, I guess he just didn't want to be caught. But brother, that backfired, literally. But also, I mean, you have to be pretty careless in general to bring an inflatable doll to a shared dorm room. But still, at the same time, somehow care enough to make this catastrophic decision of choosing arson as a disposal method inside of a building surrounded by other students. And then on top of that, at a technology university with flammable materials everywhere.
The security and property owners took care of the incident in a timely manner, and also contacted the fire department without any property or any social workers of any kind to get that weather in the hallway.
I mean, I've covered many absurd stories on the internet throughout the years. I guess this story is just one of those perfect examples of how irrational you can become when you're in panic mode. But the most ironic part of the story is what started as an attempt to avoid embarrassment in front of one person has now made the student basically infamous all over Chinese social media. If he was desperately trying to prevent a spectacle, well, he just failed spectacularly. Because honestly, there's something almost poetically tragic there. I mean, this dude essentially created the Streisand effect for his own private activities. By trying to hide evidence from one person, he's now brought it to the attention of tens of millions of people. At least he was not identified. I mean, he'll probably be known throughout the school, but they at least haven't put him on blast of who he is. So locally within the school, he'll probably be known as the inflatable doll fire guy. That was a safe term of using that to not get demonetized here on YouTube. The term will probably be a lot more direct. But hey, I mean, it could have been worse. He could have accidentally burned down the whole school or caused some serious damage that wasn't just his girlfriend. Also, all the videos I had to use to essentially compile and learn everything about this story, I had to dub from Mandarin to English. Hence why they're quite interesting to watch. Also, this is like a complete side note from the video though, but Douyin or Douyin, which is I guess like TikTok in mainland China, the editing style and everything, as you can see, is very fascinating. It's even more fast-paced than what we see here on the American or Western version of TikTok. Because especially this first video I just showed you, I mean, it is not sped up at all. It's just edited to be that fast-paced for that market. But yeah, I couldn't find this guy anywhere, so clearly they haven't released his identity, but probably it won't take long for people to forget this even happened, because even though it became viral, the whole world doesn't really know who was behind the scenes. So it won't really become as big of a stain for him as it could have been, unless he actually gets charged for arson somehow here. But who knows what will happen. If there's any lesson to what we can learn here, it's that sometimes the cover-up might be even worse than the crime. And I say crime like that because that's not a crime, it's just an embarrassment. But being caught with an inflatable companion might be embarrassing in the moment for the two parties involved, but still, that would have been forgotten a whole lot quicker if he didn't light it on fire and throw it out into the dorm room hallway. So next time you find yourself in a potentially embarrassing situation, remember the tale of the Hefei University student and ask yourself, is my solution going to make things better or infinitely worse for myself? And if your solution involves fire in any way, it's probably the latter. But other than that, YouTube thinks you'll enjoy this video. If you're new here, feel free to subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.